Well, I have to write you a ticket. No. And then he goes back to his college kid, and he comes back and he goes.
She lives way down. There's my street.
You're not getting that lucky.
You got a driveway or something here. If you don't write it, I will give you this. Oh, no.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for our board meeting. If you are able, would you please stand, remove your hat, for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 4 is the adoption of the agenda. Without removing anything or just wanting people to, sorry. If any of you want anything removed, please say so. If not, we could get a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
In a second, please. Fantastic. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Call to the public is an opportunity for you to speak before the board. Do you have any cards? Would anybody like to say anything? All right. Go once, go twice. With no one coming forward, we'll move on to our information and discussion items. And first up is item 6A, which is our Hungry Kids Volunteers. And Ms. Daniels will be presenting tonight.
If our Hungry Kids volunteers could come up, I know I didn't tell you that part because I was afraid you wouldn't come.
I don't know what you do.
Come on down.
I know where she lives.
Yes.
Don't tell me where you're going. I know she does.
So this is a small portion of our volunteers for our Hungry Kids project. And on Thursday mornings throughout the school year, they meet to pack weekend meal bags for our students. So far this year, they've packed over 100,000 meals. Woo! I wanted you guys to be able to see who they were. Some of them, they are a wide variety of jobs. Some of them come early on Thursday mornings and break down all the stuff that goes in the bins because they walk around a table and put stuff in bags. Larry over here, Larry, wave your arm. Larry flattens all the boxes and takes them to the dumpster. And he also volunteers at our green bag collections day 6 times a year and does the same thing because he's such an awesome box crusher. So he does that. So what I would like is if you guys could just say your name and tell how you came to be involved with Hungry Kids. Like if there's an organization you're connected with and that's how you found it. And maybe just one quick thing about why you do it. Charlie, let's start with you.
Okay. Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Charlie Henry, and I got involved with Hungry Kids through Grace Church, and I know Cindy, and my wife and I, we originally started volunteering by going up to Flagstaff to pick up food at Sam's Club, and when we got in, as long as we were available, we started packing bags.
And Charlie, Jim, and Wayne have been doing Hungry Kids for probably 10 years. So that's a lot of Thursday mornings. Mr. Al, how about you?
Al Gibbons is my name, and the fellow that used to run it named Rich, I forget Rich's last name. Spencer. I knew him, and he tapped me on the shoulder one day and asked if I'd like to volunteer, and I went to it. We had a great time. It's actually a lot of fun. Very humorous, and we joke around and have a great time.
I'm going to talk about Miss Barb. She's next. Barb has taken over running the Hungry Kids Project this year. And even though Barb looks like spring chicken, she's not. And I think I'll use that about a lot of Barb.
That's true.
I can say that about Barb because we're friends. And I would probably not anymore. But I would tell you, Barb has done a phenomenal job of stepping up to the plate, keeping it organized. She takes her horse trailer up to Flagstaff so they can pour pallets of food into it at Sam's. She meets the FedEx driver. It's not an easy operation to overtake those 100,000 meals. The budget this year is $167,000. It's grant and donation funded, and Barb does a really, really good job spending the money wisely. Mr. Larry, why do you volunteer?
Well, somebody told me that there was an opportunity to stomp on boxes.
I knew that was coming. No, Larry.
No, actually, I also attend Grace Baptist Church over there. And when I heard about that, there's a verse in the Bible that is very close to my heart, and it goes something like this, that pure religion or true religion in the eyes of God is to visit widows and orphans in their distress. Now, we're not visiting anybody, but this is a chance for me to do something to reach out to people who are in need. And so that's just something that's kind of, special for me. And that's why I get involved. And also we're, it's like we're a group of friends that just come and enjoy being with each other. So anyway, that's.
I know you come because your congregants do, and you'd be ashamed if you
I
weren't there
would.
with them.
100%. So I'm actually the president of the Chino Valley Education Foundation Board. And I'm so proud of what we do at the Chino Valley Education Foundation. We are the only education foundation in the Tri-City or Quad City, whatever area that this is, that focuses on the needs of students over teachers. We still want to do what we can for teachers, but we do the Hungry Kids Project. We just gave almost $70,000 in scholarships this year, just about a week ago. There's a lot of great things happening with the Education Foundation. I've been doing Hungry Kids, as Cindy mentioned, for about 10 years, and I'm just so pleased at how the Education Foundation is making a difference. We want to help you do your job, and we want to do all we can to support you as a school board.
My name's Jim McBride. I also go to Grace Church, and I got involved because of Pastor Wayne here. I did it on my days off as I was still working at the VA at the time, but now that I'm retired from the VA, I was the criminal investigator out there Now that I'm retired, I go every Wednesday now. My wife doesn't even do tonight, otherwise we both go every Thursday. And we've been doing it, like she said, 10 years.
My name is Birgit Iliev, and I actually go to West Side Church, unfortunately.
That's
So, we go once in a while. We got involved with a friend Aggie, who is the choir director at the church, your church. And she unfortunately can't come anymore. She's got bad knees and such. And so I've been doing it about 3 years now. And I worked under Rich, and he was a great guy, but Barb really does super work.
I'm Trish Colbeck, and like he and his boxes, my dream was to grow up and be a bag lady. So I do the bags. Really fast, like, I love my job. And I'm from the Grace Bunch.
So just so you know, in case you want to have a lot of laughs, you know where to go. About 8 o'clock every Thursday morning at Heritage. And I really want to tell, we are literally overflowing with gratitude because Hungry Kids has been super flexible this year with the HVAC project at Heritage. We've moved them around. We've blocked the way into the door. I mean, you name it, they've had to like try to figure it out all year long. And I just want to do a shout out to Christina Sheriff in the back of the room. She's our food service liaison with the district, and she's done a great job helping to source. It really, really does take all of the effort to pack over 100,000 meals. So what I have for you are gift cards to Overflow. I happen to know that this will purchase a large milkshake or a cup of coffee or something else. There's one for you, Angie.
Daniels,
Yes.
I would just like to say thank you on behalf of all my kids you make bags for.
So just saying, but each week, our average has been 350, almost 400 through the year, food bags that we deliver individually to each school during the week. And we have more kids who are impacted by Hungry Kids Project in Chino Valley than Prescott Valley, and Mayor combined.
Actually, by the whole county. We have more than the whole county.
Than the whole county. So it's an amazing thing. We're so grateful that we can be a part of helping those kids get some food in their tummies.
Thanks, guys.
I'm gonna talk.
I'm gonna talk.
It's a miracle.
I know it's a miracle. I just really want to thank Cindy and Lori Marley and the staff at the district office for all the help that they've given throughout the year. You know, gathering food with the green food bags and all that. We couldn't do it without your support as well. So thank you. Wow. She's good.
On behalf of the rest of the school, thank you guys so much. My heart is just full. that we have this. I mean, you have an outsider that doesn't go to the church, but I guess she's okay.
They're very accepting.
I guess so. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. All right, item 6B is our trauma and lens care recognition. And I'm going to guess Kelly Lee is going to present that. I have my glasses.
Hi, my name is Kelly Lee. I am the program manager for the Trauma Lens Care Program. It's a program that's been going on since 2019 here in the county. It is where law enforcement, when they are at a scene where there's a child experiencing trauma, they will send in an incident referral to me and to the schools. Usually it's the principal, and we will do some work around supporting the children when they do finally arrive at school. So whatever that looks like, whether it's crisis counseling or whatever we can do to provide some relief for the family. Last fall, we came to Cindy and said, hey, we have two programs that are grant funded. One is through the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission, and it is our Teachers as Mentors program, where we ask each school to select 10 or 11 teachers to mentor hand-chosen students that maybe are at risk and they meet with them during the week and do check-ins and check-outs with them, do activities, whatever that looks like, just to give those kids someone to share with and see a caring adult in their life other than their teachers. And then we also added on the Trauma Lens Care teacher mentor as well to, you guys are the only district in Yavapai County that have all of your schools participating in this. We have one school in Cottonwood, one in Camp Verde, Humboldt Elementary, and then all 4 of your schools are participating in both programs, and I really appreciate the opportunity. So TLC, when a referral comes into a school, those students that are identified in the referral are matched up with a TLC teacher mentor. It's a one-on-one match, and it's for the remainder of the school year. They check in and check out with them every day, and that's different. It could be sitting down and coloring, it could be having conversations, it could be doing some sports, it could be just sitting in silence. It's whatever will help that child through their trauma. And so I was just at a conference last week, and they presented the Youth Risk Behavior Survey here in Arizona, and it said that 4 in 10 teens are experiencing mental health crises. That's sad, but I want to give you some good news. Having a caring adult to share feelings with can decrease poor mental health by 55%. Having a friend to share your feelings with can decrease that by 27%. And feeling close to people at school can decrease poor mental health by 44%. This is why these mentorship programs are working, and we're seeing results from those. And so I want to recognize 2 of your TLC teacher mentors here in the district. I want to bring Josh up first, if I could. I think last November, we trained your teacher mentors right before Thanksgiving break, and the TLC teacher mentors all at the same time here in this room. And I'm not sure if they knew what they were getting into, but you know, that's all right. And so within a couple of months, Josh had one match of a student, and he started working with them, and then unfortunately, he moved away. And so shortly thereafter, he got another match, and he has been working with this student every week. And I get those updates every week. I get check-ins, and I have some successes that he wanted to share. It says right at first they were getting to know each other. He still keeps up his guard. He did remove himself from an angry situation in one of his classes, and he came to my class to talk about it. I let him stay in my class for the remainder of the period, and we talked about what was happening. He felt much better. And so that's what the mentoring is all about. It's when you're having a bad day, you have somebody to go and talk to. I think now they're playing basketball together, and it's a way for them to connect and a way for him to open up and share things with Josh. And I love that it's a guy mentorship, and he'll probably remember that he had a mentor in his life that cared about him and got him through some tough things in his life. So I just wanted to recognize you, say thank you.
I enjoy doing the mentorship. I mean, even prior to this, I still did that.
Yeah.
And so when my principal came to me to ask if that's what I wanted to do, I mean, I already felt like that I do that anyways, because that's the success. I mean, it doesn't matter what I'm teaching at a school, but if I can save a kid from going to jail or dropping out or committing suicide or whatever it is, I mean, then I've succeeded in my job. So I was honored to be able to do that.
Coming back next year. Okay. Okay, we got you next year.
Better, right?
We just got you like a whole expanded room and tons more. Mr. Sniper teaches workshop. Yeah, you know, we just doubled the square footage of his environment, and he's got all kinds of cool new tools.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Wow.
Okay.
Next, Miss Amber. So Amber was in our training last November, and within 2 weeks, we received a TLC referral on a student at her school, and they were matched up. She was ready to go. And I think within a couple of days, we found out that there was not one more sibling, but 2 more siblings. And so I reached out to her and I said, hey, Amber, do you want me to get you a help? Do you want me to get you another mentor? We can staff another mentor at your school. And she said, nope, I want to take all 3 boys. And I said, okay. And so she has been meeting with all 3 boys. 1 is in 1st grade and then 2 are split preschools. So she bounces around between the boys every day, check-ins and check-outs. She goes above and beyond with her check-in sheets. She gives me success stories that put me in tears. She sends me pictures every Friday. It's been amazing to see her take this on and just go with it. And she's gone above and beyond what was asked of her. Some of her successes are, it started out quiet walls. They lost their dad unexpectedly, and so these are 3 little boys that no longer have their father in their life. And so Amber came in at the right time as a little angel. She said, we talked outside his room and he talked about the video games he likes to play in the afternoon. I broke out a checkers game and he was excited to tell me that he played once with his dad and he beat him. When it was time for him to go back, I asked him for a hug and he looked around and said, don't embarrass me. On Wednesday, he was a little bummed and he didn't have any Valentines to pass out to his classmates. So we made some. Thankfully, I had the exact number of lollipops he wrote from me on 25 sticky notes, and we stuck them on the lollipops. He was so excited that he had something to pass out at his class party. On Monday, little brother was closed off, crying, and still wearing his backpack when he got to his room. We got breakfast and headed to my room to eat together. Before too long, I was able to get him smiling and laughing. We sent a happy picture to Mom, and she was grateful. On Wednesday, he was a whole different kid. He was interacting and participating. When I got to his room, he saw me in the window and became very excited. He almost ran to the door to open it, but used self-control. He got his teacher's attention and jumped up and down while pointing in my direction. I had the opportunity to go and do a site visit with Amber, and I got to meet 2 of the boys, and it is just amazing the relationship that she's formed with them, and that they trust her, and that they look forward to seeing her every day. And I'm just so blessed that you're in this program with us. And
for sure. It's a blessing to me. It's a blessing and an honor to me. I have to say too, the little one, he told me he loved me today. That was the first time. So it was like, breakthrough. My son needed a mentor when he was this age. So it's like a chance for me to give back. So.
No. I know. We'll all start crying.
Yeah, sorry.
It's been a wonderful experience. We are hopefully continuing this program here in the district next year, and we have funds to expand into other school districts that did not get the opportunity to do this. And I hope they take advantage of it. And we will continue the teacher mentor program as well. But these guys are rock stars.
Thank you.
The only thing I can add to it is the boys did not come to, they missed school a ton. They have hardly missed any school since Amber's taken them on. So they look forward to coming and seeing Amber every day.
Bouncing happily.
You know, I've said it for years that our district is the shining star in the county. After the last 2 presentations, come on. Right. And if I could end the meeting right now, I would. It's amazing. Thank you. Oh, gosh. Okay. Let's see what we can beat that one with. Item 6C is our Golden Plate Award.
Boris is not here, so we don't know what's going on. But I know she was planning on being here because I talked to her last Wednesday. But the Golden Plate Award is when you receive a high score from the health department on the inspections. This is for the high school kitchen. I always tell people I think we have the best commercial kitchen in Chino Valley. And I brag about that, and Bernie does a great job in maintaining that kitchen. And the Golden Plate Award is just evidence of that. And so I want to congratulate Bernie in absentia, but congratulate her on earning the Golden Plate Award from the Yavapai County Environmental Health Department, I believe.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I do have to say, I'm a little disappointed we don't have examples. Last month was
You can't top last month.
That's great. Congratulations to them. Item 60 is our CVHS dual credit program, and Ms. Crawford is going to present on that.
She loves getting in front
Is this number 4? Hi, good evening. Yes, I have do you have the presentation? Okay, so I'm gonna update you. I'm gonna educate you on what I learned this school year, because I was using the words interchangeably, they were not correct. We have dual credit programs. So we have concurrent, you go to the next slide. Concurrent are classes that kids enroll in through Yavapai College that are either online, or they can take them completely online at home, or sometimes they'll be on campus for an hour and they can complete the coursework in the library. Either way, they're taking their high school classes and still taking college classes. And so Yavapai, kids can earn dual credit. They can earn college credit and they can earn high school credit, but to earn both credits, you have to earn a C or better in the class. So even if they earn a D, we would count that on a high school transcript, but it would not count for Yavapai. So I'm only giving you results on the students who earned dual credit, because that's our goal. So of the total number of students taking concurrent classes, this is beyond the normal school day, we have 39 students taking a total of 75 classes so far this school year. 66.65% of them have earned dual credit, and we did have some students earn a D, F, W, or a Y. And so what we did when we were looking at the classes that this happened in, it was mostly like a health, allied health biology course. Some kids dropped, and we didn't really have a good process for that. Kids would sign up and we would pay for it, and it's great. It was it's one of those things you don't know what you don't know, but they would sign up for classes through Yavapai, and we wouldn't necessarily know that they weren't doing well because we're not entitled to that information per FERPA. And then we'd find out later that they failed. And so we worked out a better system and we revamped how to even enroll in these courses. We have a new Google form that requires the parents to read FERPA information because they don't get notified. If they try to contact the instructor, they get kind of stonewalled a little bit because Yavapai has different rules. So we're trying to streamline the communication we're front loading to try and prepare these kids and let them know, hey, do you really want to do this? Because if you don't, you're going to have to reimburse the school because we've been paying for all of it. And unfortunately, the school's lost a little bit of money, but we've got a plan moving forward to make everybody successful. Okay, next slide. So our on-campus dual enrollment, we refer to these as AGEC, so Arizona General Education Curriculum. This is like your YC 101, 102, and then your upper level classes 217, 242. I'm only giving you semester 1 results because we don't have semester 2. But right now we have 69 students enrolled in our English dual enroll, so 101. First semester, 97.68% of students earned the credit. Seniors who are in 217, 100% of them have earned credit.
Oh, these are dual credit.
Yeah, so they're taking that class. They actually show up on campus. They report to a classroom. They're sitting in one of our classrooms, but it's being taught by a CVHS teacher who is qualified to be a Yavapai instructor. Yes, sir. Okay, so total numbers of students taking YC math classes. Math is interesting. You would think it would be called pre-calc. It's not. But the first semester is college math. And right now, all of the students have passed and earned their credit. For calculus, that is offered just as calculus all year long. 100% of our students have earned the credit. Oh, sorry, the trigonometry was the one that's broken up into 2. Pre-calculus is also broken up into 2 semesters. College algebra, 100% of our students have earned credit in those classes. 36 total students in our AGEC math program. Next. Okay, finally, this is our last slide. I say that because Ed is timing me. Total number of classes taken. So we're going to combine our on-campus kiddos and those who are taking the concurrent. 184 classes have been taken. 178 earned a passing grade. 6 did not earn a passing grade per the YC standard, so the A, B, or C. So that percentage is 96.7% successful, and we have about 3.26% of our kids who did not earn dual credit.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I know that a few months ago, we had some folks who were concerned about the success of kids in English 101. I don't know where they got their numbers, but I don't think it applies to our kiddos. I know it doesn't. But it did spark like reasons for us to revamp our enrollment process, even with I've talked with Ms. Daniels and Yavapai, what we're doing for our grade 12 English. If kids don't make it into 101 or 102, we thought, well, that's a problem. Because if the kids want to go to Yavapai, we want to provide them every opportunity they can choose beyond high school. They can be vocationally minded and go straight into a career or go through college to get to their career. Either way, we want them to have options. So we said, okay, what can we do to any kid who doesn't qualify for 101, what can we do to help them? So we are going to meet actually this Friday with some Yavapai instructors and my English 12 teacher. We're going to revamp our curriculum and just use open resources and then require those students to take the AccuPlacer so that if they want to go to Yavapai, they now qualify. Yeah.
Question for you, or comment. There was somebody from Yavapai at the award ceremony on Wednesday that talked about 3 kids that accomplished something. Do you remember what those were? One kid is graduating with an AA degree.
Yes.
So they completed everything that they could to get a 2-year degree while at Chino Valley High School.
Yeah, at the same time.
And 2 kids completed the AJEC. Justine talked about the AJEC classes. Basically, all of their undergraduate or all of their first 2 years of college are done. And it doesn't equate to an AA degree, but it's almost the same. So we have 3 kids that have done outstanding work through Yavapai College while at Chino Valley High School.
So John, all the required courses for Yavapai that they were required to take in Yavapai the first 2 years, we also offer in the joint program, is what you're saying?
Well, either through concurrent or the dual enrollment.
Yeah.
We don't offer them all on campus, but we will pay for the student to take them at Yavapai.
Okay.
And then they get credit for both high school and Yavapai.
So what you're saying is they're getting all the first 2 years of Yavapai's required courses, as well as our own senior required courses.
And Justine mentioned, we're paying for it.
Yeah.
They don't pay for it.
The only time that they will in the future be paying is if they either earn the D, F, W, or a Y. So if they're not earning the A, B, or C, then, but yeah, it's pretty remarkable that these kids are getting basically all the gen ed requirements are available to them right now.
So they could go in after senior year of high school here as an upperclassman.
That's exactly right, as a junior.
Or at any state university, because the AJEC classes are fully articulated with NAU, U of A, and ASU. So the AJEC, and that's why it's structured this way, is so they meet those exact same requirements. The courses are called the same thing at all those campuses. And I did want to emphasize this. In response to a call to the public comment from a couple of months ago, that was false information indicating that most of our kids had to go to a remedial class. You can see that that's not true. And I just want to emphasize what Justine said. We have revamped our regular senior English class, so not the classes that are college credit bearing. So the kids, it's equivalent to all of the preparation they need, plus the test, so they'll never have to do remedial at YC.
What I also like about it, and AP is great, I'm not knocking AP courses, but what I love about dual enroll is that kids, they get the support throughout the entire school year and they still earn credit, whereas AP, they do all of this buildup and then they take the test at the end. And that's a lot of pressure, but they demonstrate, consistently throughout the semester or year for us, how they're tracking, and they do have an instructor with kind of the high school mindset they're going to support them no matter what. And they're checking on them. They're just not communicating to the parents as much as maybe parents are like. But I'm such a fan of dual enroll. I think it's the success rate is remarkable compared to some other programs, and it gives kids a huge advantage over others. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for funding it.
Of course, out of the 178 students with passing grades, how many are seniors? Are they all seniors?
No, I have to look at,
I'm just wondering what the comparison to that is to the number of seniors graduating this year.
So in my graduation speech every year, I talk about that. I'm actually waiting for the numbers from our student information coordinator, who's going to give me those numbers. So I will have that, and I can share that with you at graduation. But it's something like 2/3 typically every year have at least one credit hour, and the equivalent is about $200,000 in savings that the families get in the credit that's offered either through the dual enrollment or the concurrent enrollment.
Fantastic. I just wanted those viewing online to be
Yeah.
able to.
yeah, for each
Know how good we
class-
are.
Amen to that. The classes that they, there's sometimes 3, 4, or more credits depending on the complicated nature of it, but that's like $700 for that class that we're funding and helping. So it is a big savings, but also it just gives kids, I think what we all want is to just give them better options for them to be successful. And this is truly phenomenal. I did not have this. We had dual enroll in my last district, but not to the success rate that we experience here. So we're doing something right.
YC cuts us a break. We pay about,
They do.
we have about a 50% savings on the cost per credit that a kid would have to take.
And we don't have to pay anything for the dual enrollment, just the concurrent enrollment that's taken either online or at one of the college sites.
All right, one more thing that Chino Valley did really well.
And just as another
Thank you.
nugget is the freshman class, pretty much every year at Yavapai College, the largest number from any one school is Chino Valley High School. So we make up the largest percentage of any school at Yavapai College of our graduates for each class.
Prove my point. Yeah, we're the best. We're it. Okay, now let's see if we can top one more. Item 6C, our superintendent's report. Keep it on a roll.
Legislative update / June board meeting. We're going to talk about both things at the same time. Right now, the legislature is only meeting once a week, but there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. They're really working on a budget. I've heard one theory is that they are waiting for June budget numbers, because the later that they wait, the Joint Legislative Budget Committee puts out their report about the 10th of each month, and the deficit keeps getting smaller and smaller. And so they want to try to make that budget based on the latest information they can, which would be June 10th, meaning that we may not get a budget till the middle of June. Our board meeting is scheduled for June 10th. We've had some discussion that whether there's a budget or not, we think that we can at least have a proposed budget that later we would adjust in October, September, sometime that later down the road. But so we don't anticipate a budget till June is what's going on. There's not a whole lot else going on right now at the legislature. And at the same time, we're hoping that we can move the June 10th board meeting to June 17th. And I wanted to kind of pull the board on that. See your availability on that. It is a Monday. It's just a week later. I know Marcia said she's available before she goes on to vacation. So it sounds like that's good. So we'll go ahead and move the meeting from the 10th to the 17th. Same time, 5 o'clock. It'll be our normal meeting that we have instead of the 10th. So that's kind of what's going on. Just kind of waiting for the state to issue a budget. At a minimum, we would base our next year's budget on the 2% that we're supposed to be guaranteed. I say supposed to. So we'll base it on 2%. That can always be adjusted later. 2% increase to the base support level, and go from there. We're also hoping that the forms are actually out. That would be the other complicating factor if there's no forms. But I anticipate that they should get that.
Are you talking about budget forms?
Yeah, these things that are in your packet right now, we need those that hopefully for the new year but the Auditor General will issue those.
Correct. Those are online.
They're online, but they don't necessarily issue them until there's a budget
Yeah, to put numbers into
to put my numbers into it, right? So what I think worst case is they would just issue them, and which has happened before, and we have to kind of use numbers. I don't want to say that we make up with the best estimates that we can. The best way to put that, based on the information that we have. Yes.
Couple questions.
Yes, sir.
So approximately what is the deficit at this point in time?
I am not certain what that number is. I believe it's hundreds of millions of dollars. So.
Yeah, I think 1.6 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm also understanding that sort of the word is getting out to all government agencies to expect probably a 5% cut next year in the next budget.
I have also.
Is that kind of what you're hearing?
I believe right now that the state government has had it put on. They're not calling it a hiring freeze, but I think it's effectively a hiring freeze. And they can move people around. They just can't fill the net. They can't be a net increase in personnel. They can move people around. Also, that I know that the governor has put a, I don't want to say ban, but has said that there will be no out-of-state travel for county, or not county, for state employees. Basically, there's been budget cutting happening at the state level to try to accommodate that. Any other questions on that? Million Word Challenge dinner. We had a great dinner. The cafeteria at Del Rio was packed with parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and friends of the Million Word Challenge readers that we had. We had readers at every school. Our high reader was a young lady from Chino Valley High School who read just over 7 million words. The record is 9 million something, I believe. I want to thank Cheyenne and Cindy for work on that. And also each school has a designated coordinator. I want to thank them as well. We had one of the neat, there's not a whole lot during the year that we really celebrate kind of the academic stuff going on. And so I just really wanted to kind of throw that out there. It's a neat time, and the kids are so excited. They get and some of these posters that are up here are examples of what they might get. They get to choose their theme, and then Cheyenne does her magic and photoshops it. They get a Amazon card when they reach 1 million, and then every million after that, they get more money added onto it. The top reader gets a nice Amazon Kindle, an upgraded one, and then there's also the high readers at each school each get a Kindle, and then there's an extra Kindle that's a random drawing for those kids that read 1 million words. And so we also celebrate the kids at Territorial that are on their way to reading 1 million words. So we had some Territorial kids that were just the top readers to kind of encourage them to keep going. So really neat stuff going on last Wednesday. And following that up that was actually last Monday, a week from today. Last Wednesday was our CVHS scholarship night. And I think it was close to $2.5 million is what the number was that our Chino Valley High School graduates earned in scholarships. I think Pastor Wayne mentioned that the foundation gave away $70,000. I got to talk about Denise Pearson, who's one of our, who's a woman that gave some money to the school district to give money out every year. And that money is still continuing and will be hopefully for forever. And so a lot of neat stuff going on, a lot of neat kids up there. And I also want to congratulate Zachary Otis, who is this year's valedictorian. And so the most excited family I think in the room was his family when he was announced as the valedictorian. So that was really neat to see and celebrate with his family and him. So kid that I understand been working hard since kindergarten, and one of those kids that got the perfect attendance every year and things like that. So it really shows off what hard work can do and the accolades that we can bestow upon some of these kids that do that. HVAC installation. We had a final walkthrough last Friday at Del Rio. There are some punch list items, but nothing huge, just normal construction type stuff. So I imagine Dr. Moody is very excited to be done with that. Right now at Heritage, they are kicked out of the office. We have Leanne, the assistant principal, on one side of the campus. We have the principal on another, the nurse on a third. We have people in the portables. It's all over the place. So the district, the front office is kind of spread out, but they're working on that right now. Hopefully to have that done in the next couple, 2 to 4 weeks, then that project will be done. And we'll have the west side of the highway HVAC finished, which is going to be exciting. On the east side, territorials, and we talked about this, territorials cafeteria and B building, which is where the preschool is, that will be worked on over the summer. Hopefully starting some work maybe in this building over the summer as well, because that's going to be air conditioning in the gym next door. Then we're just waiting on portables to get moved. That takes about, was it like 14 weeks or something like that to get permitting and everything else to move the portables from the west side to the east side. So once that happens, September, probably looking at a similar time frame, construction throughout the year, hopefully finishing before the summer next year.
And that wraps it.
And that should be done, yeah. It should be just another year of work. I think that the contractor was budgeting 18 months. I don't think 18 months is going to happen, but could be closer to 20 to 22 months. But that'll be finally done, something that's been in the works for many, many years. Let's see. The state track meet, another neat thing happening at the state track meet, which happened a couple weekends ago. We have a 4x800 meter boys team that are state champions. I saw the photo finish picture, which was literally a chest. The kid leaned and won. So less than 1/10 of a second difference. We're talking about an 8-minute race coming down to a less than 1/10 of a second difference. So, and it was really exciting to listen to the track coach, Mark Metz, talk about this, because his son was, first of all, his son was one of the runners, but they were behind the whole race and really finished strong at the end. So really exciting stuff to have another state track meet. And there's a theory that's going around. I've had this conversation with Cindy and some others. This may not have been possible without our brand new track. Kids are having, and you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, before when they were training, they were always having to look down and adjust their cadence because of the huge holes and cracks in the track, and they were afraid of becoming injured. So they couldn't practice at full effort. And so they never developed a strong cadence for, handing off batons, for running through the tape, for things like that. And so we watched it happen last year. We had kids starting to break school records last year with just a little bit of training on the track. This year, almost every meet, we are having 3 and 4 new school records set. And then we're, sending kids to state championships who are winning. And it's like any athlete, right? Without the right equipment, you cannot be successful because you can't train at an optimal level. So it's really cool. We have a pole vault pit. We haven't had a pole vaulter in years. He competed at the state track meet in his junior. So it's really exciting.
Yeah. Lots of neat results from having a brand new track. So I wanted to throw that out there. May 21st, which is our last day of school. It's a half day for all the schools get out 3 hours early. We're doing our staff recognition. So if you'd like to come and recognize our 5, 10, 15, and 20-year employees and our retirees. And then you can also make yourself a nice ice cream sundae if you like. So that'll be at Heritage in the gym at 2 o'clock on that Tuesday, the 21st. And there's just a calendar. The next time we see you will probably be on hopefully, Tuesday, 21st possibly. But if not, we'll see you on the evening of the 22nd, which is graduation. That is 7 o'clock at Finley Toyota Center. 6:30.
Doors open at 6.
Yeah.
They usually.
Yeah. If you want to come in at 6:15, if you go around the side, there's an entrance on the side which is closer to the stage, and you can get in there and maybe peek at the graduates who will be in the back and that kind of stuff. You got in your box, you got a magazine that talked about there's three teachers that are being recognized in these as the county school magazine. So check that out. And Cindy has something she wants to share.
So the district was featured in the American Association of School Administrators magazine this month for our little project. Our little casitas. So I thought you might want to see that. Kind of cool.
And that's my report, unless there's any questions.
Anything? Okay. Then let's move on to Mr. Livingston, make it happy. We're unhappy. Financial reports, please.
Okay, Madam President, members of the board, administration and staff. So I think I'd be remiss with the whole purchase of the track and the success of our relay team. Anyone that's watched the Olympics knows that in the World Championships, the U.S. men do really well. Last 12 years, they usually win the 4x100. But when it comes to the Olympics, they can't do the handoff. So with your permission, and I'll ask Justin to, if we could get together with Matt Dunn and have him call, I think we're in Colorado Springs, call the U.S. Men's Olympics team, come down here and watch our boys do the handoff. That might result in them doing better handoffs.
That's awesome.
There we go. That's the way I like to start. Nice. Okay, and then keeping the report for the expenses up to the end of April, real simple. M&O expenditures, 15.5 million. The plan then, when we get to the adopted budget, is to move some funds back into that M&O fund this year from our capital fund. And the M&O fund, you see I put in that page one, and I also have a new page one here. I handed out this in front of you. The M&O fund will end at 20 million this year, very close to 20,004,000 dollars. And that's with moving some funds back from capital. Last couple of years, we've moved it over to capital just to do some things. Now we're moving some back to capital. So that 15.5 million is against the $20 million budget in M&O for the month of April. If we approve the budget tonight, it's 19.5 million. And I believe we're going to approve this tonight, which will take it up another 500,000. 610, $2 million budget. We estimate year end of about 1.8 million total expenditures, which would give us that 200,000 difference to start next year with called carryover. 620 is an interesting fund. I'd like to highlight that just a little bit. The sheet I gave you shows our revenue for 620. That's the one in front of you, 620 fund, 253,000. Included a bunch of property taxes. Those of you that pay property taxes in April, thank you. Because it added about 70,000 more to our 620 fund to put us right at the 250,000 that we budgeted for that fund. We used 420,000 this year out of that fund. We had to use it for a few years. We used some of it for the upgrade to the Del Rio entry on the south end. We also used some of it for the fire lane just west of there, the mini houses project. So if we keep those contributions from local taxpayers coming, there's how many projects we've our maintenance director just left here, but I think we counted 7 or 8 different surfaces that are fire lane eligible that we could use more money to spend from 620 fund, and that's where the donations, the taxes from local taxpayers would go into 620, just like they did this year, and it will probably be at least 3 or 4 years, even if we had $2 million in it, it would take that long to spend. If we don't bring in $2 million a year, we're bringing in 250,000 a year, so we might increase that a little bit to get more done. So that's fire lane eligible expenditures. Otherwise, we have to use our capital funds, which we don't really like to use. And the report I gave you took the ending cash up because the county does this once in a while, but usually I catch it on May 7th. They got some April money and they pushed it back into the month of April when they could do that. So this last report, I put it on your page, shows the ending cash flow fund at 6.7 million, other than about 5.2 million that was in your package. And that just is some state equalization to get our capital fund and get our M&O fund. So we like 6.7 million in the account at the end of April rather than 5.2 million. We like that difference.
$1 million better.
So, and just a real quick look at our budget. I talked with Mr. Atona just a little bit today. Because we fall below a certain threshold, of that 20 million this year that we have coming, about 13 of it comes from state equalization, maybe 12 and a half. The rest comes from local property tax. Other districts that have a much higher assessed value per pupil in school, bring in that whole 20 million just for the local property. So we are positively aided in that really helps. Otherwise, we'd have to raise our tax rate, which we can't do.
Our neighbor to the south gets no equalization money. All of their, so Prescott Unified School District, their entire budget is through local taxes.
And that's all I have. Any questions for the April of 2024?
Nope. All right, moving right along, Mr. Livingston, if you will give us an update on our student activity fund report.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, we do have for our student activity, not much activity yet in those funds that you entered or you approved at Heritage Middle School about 2 months ago, and student activity. But they will, I've talked to the principal, they do have an active group over there. The ones we're talking about are cross country and drone and not fight club, but flight club. They are gonna have activity and they're gonna do fundraisers. And do that so the encumbrances there, we've already had our senior trip, I believe, for high school was it Wednesday through Friday morning? And they all,
Wednesday through Thursday. Thursday through Friday.
yeah, I think it was like 11 o'clock at night Wednesday, get back sometime Friday. Yeah, that's what I heard. Yes.
Oh, maybe that.
So that's all done.
Yes, and it was successful. Everybody made it back alive.
Tired.
So that's paid for by student council at the high school, and you see that's not in the encumbrance anymore, it's in the expense. So that's just where these accounts work, and that's the only one I really needed to report on. These are managed really well. Each one of them, you could probably say, has at least 4 people managing the funds, and the students do most of the work and where they go. Any questions on student activity?
On this side? How about gentlemen? All right, thank you. Item 7A through P is tonight's consent agenda. If we could have a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll make a motion to approve it. Give us a second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Thank you. Item 8A is our superintendent's performance pay. As you will recall in our last executive session, when we were doing John's performance pay, the okay going ahead and paying out, I think twice a year. This is an action item. If anyone, first of all, any more discussion on that? Also,
Action motion for the approval of superintendent's performance pay.
and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item 8B, student data systems analysis. Yes.
Madam Chair, board members, Mr. Scholl, Ms. Daniels. District staff is requesting to change our SACE coordinator position title to student data systems analyst. And also the district is asking to change the salary due to the fact that and over the last decade, that position, the responsibilities have changed and increased, the responsibilities have been increased for that position. And their primary functions are to coordinate, maintain, and execute external compliance extracts and reports, which has become very, used to be done at the school levels. Now it has to be done at the district level. And this position is directly tied to funding. So we're wanting to change this position from classified hourly to classified exempt. And also,
You feel this position will be easily filled?
it has already been filled.
Given the past history.
Yes, and that's why we wanted to make the change, because we've had a hard time filling that position because of the amount of responsibility. You have to have somebody that really likes to work with data, finds it challenging, and really wants to make sure that everything matches and that everything is done correctly, so that ADE is happy with this and our funding is intact.
Any other questions? All right, again, this is an action item.
I will make it. For the approval.
Motion.
I'll make a motion for the approval of student data within now.
And a second, please.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. My next request is, currently we have an IEP coordinator that does a really awesome, job and is on top of it and making sure that our IEPs are done correctly and that also are done in a timely manner so that, the sped department doesn't, have any issues, nor does the district. So that person is moving down, to the Phoenix area and we are looking to make that job a remote worker. We met or talked with our lawyer over the phone and you'll see that we have his letter and then also a confidential student privacy agreement because this is our first remote worker position that we're looking at. And we think that it's important that we keep this person because we have had a hard time finding applicants who have the background and also the ability to learn and to be of service to the SPED teachers. Because it's really important that those IEPs are done correctly and in a timely manner. And all the work she does is remotely, even when she's in the office at Del Rio. So she does everything on the computer, emails, and all of the IEPs are done through IEP Pro. So there's nothing that has to be printed out or have access if she's at her home. It'll all be online and we'll put up a timer so that if she steps away from the computer, it'll go ahead and lock it. So we think that this is the best for this position and making sure that our IEPs are kept up correctly and in a timely manner.
Quick question now, if she's doing it remotely, she's gonna have to communicate by phone, I presume, with the particular
Most of
staff?
her, yeah, she could, but most of her communication even now is through email.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
even
she
now
doesn't meet personally
Yeah.
with each staff person.
We'll probably have her come up once or twice a month. We don't know exactly yet to meet and to be part of the team. But most of her communication with the teachers is all through email.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was my question.
Yeah.
About coming in.
Yeah.
for meetings.
Yeah, she will come in for meetings and then if we need her to come up.
And keeping our IEPs compliant is going to actually has financial impacts as well. We've been trying for a couple of years to build what's called MIPS, which is Medicare reimbursement. And part of the Medicare reimbursement program requires IEPs to be in a certain format, which we haven't always done. And we finally got to that point, and this is the person that's helping us do that.
Right.
And it's going to help hopefully keep them compliant so that we can actually bill MIPS and we learned today just something that we already do, which is the hearing tests could result in $40,000 of revenue to the district and not have to do a thing other than make sure our paperwork is right. And so that's why this position also has potentially some fiscal impacts.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Will this person be on a contract basis or
No,
will there be some performance evaluations that?
Yes, they will. Yes,
Okay.
right. And that'll be done by probably Cindy and Dr. Burdette.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is an hourly position, so
Yeah.
that they would have to clock in.
Yeah.
When they're working.
But if it's not working out, it would be
And-
a position that would be.
Right, and we told the individual that this would be, we would try it for a year because we want to make sure that this works for us. But we think at this point it's the right thing to do.
Alrighty. Any other questions? All right, once again, it's an action item.
I will make the motion for the approval of IEP coordinator job change.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right.
And lastly, just a couple of things on the personnel report. On number one, it should be a new employee, not transferred. And on number 26, There, the person is not replacing themselves, there is another person that's doing so. So anyways, they're not replacing themselves, but anyways, I just wanted to bring that to your attention in case later on or something you look at that. We caught it a little bit too late. So overall, we have one new certified staff member, 7 new classified, 1 termination, 3 certified changes, 8 classified changes, 8 extra duty, and 195 timesheets, and you should have also received the personnel report supplement. All right. Which number was that? Number 26.
Oh, it's actually 2.
Yes.
Question on our part?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Wolf on the personnel report?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes,
and I don't know
please.
if this is appropriate time or, but Ms. Wolf, do you know what our retention rate for faculty and staff is for this year?
No, I'm working on those numbers as things are, but yeah, I'll have that for you hopefully in our August meeting.
Great.
Yeah.
August.
Or July, I'm sorry, as I get everything finalized. The good news is that everybody that we have hired this year are fully certified. So.
And assign the contracts for next year, we hope.
Yes.
Those were due the middle of April.
Yeah. So yeah, and everybody that the new hires are fully certified.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve tonight's personnel report.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And supplement, please.
And supplement.
A second?
I'll second.
Fantastic. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Now back to Mr. Livingston. Our expenditure budget, revision number 3.
Revision number 3, thank you very much. So we, if memory serves, did our first revision in December of 2023 for the current year. Second one we did in March. And the reason I really like to do that one in March, and I appreciate that we do these 3 times a year, is we just want to align everything the state values in our district. Number of students per grade level, a number of miles that we drive every day. I was in the bus facility this morning looking at daily route miles that we drive. We've got 4 different types of buses, some in position to get repaired, some on the daily route, some that we've ordered and they're not here yet, and every one of them has an estimated group of miles that they run. So there's so many things that go into these budget packages. So I could explain that there's only about 6 numbers that are relevant, really, that might have changed a bit. If you'll turn to your long legal sheets in your packets, then board members, you go to, it's about 10 pages of the long legals. And you can see right behind that last long legal there, it's called a budget report, and it's dated in the lower left corner, April 15th. So it's right after the long legals. They used to call it the budget 25 report, but for whatever reason, I know Mr. Attorney knows where it is because we talked about it today. So it's right after the last long legal, it's a supplement, and there's just 4 numbers I'd like to review there. So as of the top, as of March 6th, based on the March 6th revision, the first number would be the revenue control limit, the 17,834,000, should come down there. That's the first number. And then the second one is the 1,061,000, about 8 numbers down. That's the amount that we were able to carry forward from last year. So that's it's a plus in our M&O account. And then we have the one-time money, the 622,963, about 3/4 of the way down the page. And then because we're transferring money in from capital, there you can put down at the bottom of everything, 150,000. And you add those numbers, the 17.8 million, that's basically where we would be without these 3 other numbers. 17.8 plus the 1,060,000 plus the 622,000, the one-time money plus the 450,000 in capital gives us a 20,004,644. Then we back up to page 7 of those long legal sheets. It's about 2 from the end, just to guide you through the whole thing there. And you see those numbers again in different columns. So we use that little sheet, that budget 25 sheet, to inform these budget sheets. And if everything's lined up, because we revised our budget once in maybe, if you do it in April, they may not have one of these that we can use by May 13th. So I'd like to do it in March, and we see the April numbers for the new budget sheets. They're on the last page in the 7 there, page 7 of the long legal, you see that 17,834,000 in the far upper left. That's what we started with. And then if you looked a little bit on that last sheet, there was the 122,000 that was in capital. That number showed up on that other little sheet. You see the 452,000 that we're moving over to the M&O line. Those two columns that go up and down. The second number, 452, that's coming back from capital to M&O. You go down further, you see there it is. The budget carried forward from last year, the 1,061,000, and right down below the 301 money, you see the 622, and right below everything, you see the 20,004,000. So that's where it comes from. And then we'll end this year, and we hope our expenses come in ballpark 19 million in that fund. We know our expenses in the capital fund are close to 1.8 million. We spent 1.3 already, which is about 500,000 encumbered. They may come a little lower. We always hope that we could keep expenses within budget this time of year. And thank goodness we've spent this year over 8.5 million of 691 fund dollars on the HVAC and the progressive roofing to seal all the penetrations in our roofs. And so, Mr. Moody, when you did the walkthrough, did everything pass? All the switches turn on our air?
Yes, there's a few holes in the wall and a few, outlets that need to be moved, nothing of any great consequence.
Cool air is coming, we just have to do a little patching down.
Cool air is coming. There are a few stains in the ceilings that, once the roofing is done, that'll be taken care of. So, yeah, it's nothing of any great consequence. For the most part, 99.9% great.
Good to hear, good to hear. Thank you. And then again, the state's taking care of that all at 690. So we're doing the best we can with our own local funds. Any question on the third budget revision? Those are the two numbers, 20 million M&O final budget, 2 million even for capital, and that's what we'll end the year. All I have.
Perfect. Any questions? Any comments? All righty. Seeing none, once again, I'll entertain a motion to approve our revised budget. I'll bring it up.
I'll make a motion for approval of the third revision of the 23-24 expenditure budget to line student count factors, revenue control limit, district additional assistance, class site fund, and all local, state, and federal budgets and programs to approved and funded expenditure budget.
All right, motion. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Marcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Aye. Increase in CASA fees, item 9B. Ms. Reynolds.
Hi, I'm Julie Reynolds, and we are looking to for CASA to increase our fees because of cost of living and everything going up and up. Just to about 220. It's still reasonable. We didn't want to go too high, but we wanted to stay reasonable enough so our parents would still be able to afford it.
I just have a question, and I'm so sorry because I know you were so nervous.
I am super.
You're doing great. And so I was like, oh great, she's gonna really hate me after I ask a question. $65, that's a lot of money.
We have not had our prices go up. It's been maybe 2020, somewhere around there. So that was the only.
And you got it, if you think about it, if on a typical month might have about 16 days in it, 4 weeks. It went from $10 a day up to, basically, what is that, $15 a day or maybe a little less? That $15 a day for after school care is very, very affordable.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it as affordable for our parents, for the rural area. And we're self-supporting, so off of the money we make, it helps pay like stuff that we need or.
Is the CASA program, is it full? Like you guys
Yes.
have a lot of kids, so you're
We
like
do.
at your max number?
Right now, we are full. We will be able to, once, I already have parents already calling, can I get in? So as soon as we find out what, our costs will be, I'm gonna get that out to our parents, so they know, and
Have any parents, have parents had issues with paying the 155?
well, I
I
mean,
mean, we all
we,
have.
we get the calls, well, why is it so much? We're like, okay,
Okay.
we're available for them when school gets out early, till 6 o'clock.
But they don't withdraw their children
No.
because of,
No,
so $65.
yes. Our parents are very good. We have a good relationship with our parents, so.
And like Julie said, we're not making money on this. All we want to do is break even. And after not raising our rates significantly in a long time, I think we've raised them in 4 years, but I don't think we've, even when we did raise them, I don't think we raised them significantly, a significant amount. And so this is just to keep us even, really is what we're looking for.
Minimum wage has gone up several times.
Right.
Yeah.
Years.
And
Right.
that's-
Right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Is this paying the staff too?
Yes,
Okay.
when we get our pay from our parents, it is for our payroll.
I just wanted to make sure that was the case, because I don't know a whole bunch about this myself.
Come visit us.
What's that?
You can come.
I know I
visit.
should.
Great program. Any other questions? Seeing none, this is an action item. We could have a motion to. Motion to. In a second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Mike, did you say aye?
I did.
Okay, thank you. I apologize.
You guys are
I wasn't
being
sure if I
quiet.
heard.
Well, I was
your name.
leaning forward, I blocked it.
That was it. Okay, thank you. Good save here. Um,
Do what we can.
Item 9C, submission of proposed issues for consideration for the ASBA 2024 political agenda. You should have received an email on this, correct?
I think you received an email from ASBA. You also received an email from Karen, which included this form that we asked you to take a look at, which is the different areas that basically the summary of the sheets are in here. On your table, there's also this page. These are what your selections were for last year. So if you want to just do, if the same priorities are there for you, we can just include these. If there's any discussion about adding or subtracting or changing, we can do that. This is something Karen goes on to the ASBA website, I believe, and uploads this information into their portal. If you recall, this then gets kind of summarized or compiled with all the other school districts that belong to ASBA. And then one of you have the opportunity to represent the school district at their meeting. I don't remember what exactly it's termed, but the meeting, where they finalize this agenda, which is the Saturday after the law conference. I know that Annie's done it. Have you?
I've done
You've done it? You did it last year? Mike, have you done it? Yeah, so.
Gosh, we're busy that day.
Nothing saying you can't do it twice, but, or I know that we've gone years, but no one's represented, and that's okay too. So, but this is the way to have your input as a board on what the legislative priorities should be for the ASBA.
I think I heard Peter say I'm walking him to make sure.
Well,
That's the excuse tonight.
only if you let me make my annual speech on this issue.
Go for it.
Okay. My annual speech, I will short circuit it again. A shotgun approach to issues never works. You target the issues and what's most important to you. Last year, we did a great job of targeting our issues. 45 different blah, blah, blah issues is gonna get lost. I would hope that we would consider I thought very well structured, targeted selection from last year. So that at least the ASBA can be not shooting with a shotgun, but with a 22.
Well,
I'm sorry, that's not the best I can.
no, I absolutely agree. I think we discussed it to great length last year and we came up with these. I'm all for keeping it the same unless there are any great oppositions against one or the other.
You want to read
I'd
this
rather
so that
vote.
it's part of the record?
You would?
No, I was just gonna comment, I'm not opposed to any of
Keeping
these,
them? Okay,
but it seems to be what incredible exercise in futility.
correct. I am gonna read them just for everyone watching and in the audience tonight. So our number one would be fully fund full-day kindergarten and include kindergarten students in override calculations. Maximize state funding for competitive salaries to attract, recruit, and retain teachers and staff. Amend the constitutional aggregate expenditure limit. Yes. Provide dedicated school capital funding and adequately fund the cost of student transportation, maintenance of school bus routes for rural schools. Any other discussion? Okay, this also is an action item.
I will make a motion for the approval to submit the top 5 issues for the 2024 political agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. We're just all on it tonight. Item 9D, participation in research project providing coordinated care and capturing outcomes for students with T1D school nurse-led pilot project. Ms. Berner.
Hello. Madam President, members of the board, Ms. Daniels, Mr. Holt. So y'all got, handouts in your packet. One is the actual agreement, the actual document that I'm hoping you guys will approve tonight. But basically, this is an opportunity to participate in a 3-year project. It's year 1. We are looking to build basically a standardized curriculum for school health offices to manage students that have type 1 diabetes. And then year 2 would be implementing that curriculum, looking at how does this actually affect their academic performance? Are they in school more? Are they better learners because they have more seat time, that type of thing. And then year 3 would be beta testing in other districts. So that's fast overview. The reason I want to be part of this is I love research, but also rural schools don't usually get included in this type of thing. There's more staff available to participate in bigger districts. They tend to be more well-informed about what's going on nationally. I try to make sure I know what's going on, but metro centers are where the information is. And 3, rural schools have the added difficulty in care of where we're at geographically. So if schools in Phoenix, schools in Tucson are participating in this research project, they have medical centers there. So I'm not saying that their students don't have barriers to healthcare, but they don't have the same one that we do in that our kiddos have to drive to Flag or to Phoenix if they're going to get type 1 diabetic. There is not a pediatric endocrinologist available in this area. So we have that and we're underrepresented. So I really, really want to participate in this. Then also because not having a national standard on diabetic care in school, and more children are being diagnosed earlier. So we are seeing more school-age children that even at the younger grades, even preschool is as young as some of those kids are coming in. We really do need to have some kind of standard that the health office automatically meets to ensure not only that our students are getting the care they need, but also to help teachers, support staff be confident in teaching these students, and also giving our families the confidence that we know what we're going to do with these kiddos, and that's just one less stress on a family managing a chronic condition that can be very stressful. I'm here to say, please let me participate in this. There's no financial obligation on our part. It is grant funded. There may be reimbursement available depending on how things work out. And they're the research team that I've talked to several times, they are adamant on aggregate data. They do not want identifiable things. So their goal is to have any participating school would have 3 to 5 at least diabetics in their school, or if it's a district like ours is, then at the state level, they want at least 3 to 5 districts. So Arizona participates, they have aggregate data from Arizona. They're not going to specify, are these kiddos rural Arizona, northern Arizona? They're not. It's just going to be the state of Arizona.
So how many children do we have right now?
I'm currently enrolled, we're at 6.
My goodness.
Yeah,
Okay.
and every school. Randy doesn't have one right now. So the 3 bigger schools.
And will just the school nurses at each school be collecting the data, or?
So the health aides will be able to help me because they're the ones actually implementing the daily interventions. It does have to be, the data itself has to be submitted by a registered nurse because they want you to know what you're actually looking at. So I will be the one submitting any of the data. That also helps me be sure that we're getting good data and that nothing identifiable is being submitted.
No, I think you want to do it. Go for this. Questions, comments?
More education. All righty, so Emmy's gonna make you happy.
I will make the motion to approve district participation in the National Association of School Nurses Research Project on providing coordinated care and district outcomes for a student with type 1 diabetes.
The second, please. I'll second. Fantastic, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. All right, item 9E, school safety updates and reunification site memorandum of understanding.
Okay, everybody, we get to talk about school safety. So I'd like to give you a few updates first, and then Wayne will talk a little bit about what it means for reunification. So some of the things that we have done so far this year are updated our emergency operating protocols for every campus. So Arizona Department of Education had a new template this year, and every school's EOP has been updated to align with the requirements in that template. We have monthly district safety committee meetings that consist of administrators and our school safety officers or resource officers. We have a new hire for territorial who's replacing Jeff Pizzi. And I think he was on tonight's agenda, Ken McDowell. And so he is coming to us from Biloxi, where he oversaw safety operations for a 1 million square foot multi-campus hospital facility. So it's very familiar with the types of safety that are involved in public use facilities, behavioral health, pediatrics, things like that, and has been a trainer for our restraint training system. So he is up to speed on that. On June 4th, we have an administrative planning day, to go through all the different pieces and parts of school safety and decide how we want to handle those things as a district, whether it would be things like annual firearms training. Right now, Matt Gronick, who's a firearms instructor for Chino Valley PD, is our school safety officer at Del Rio. And he trains and annually certifies our school safety officers with the use of the weapon, either the one that is provided by the school district to our SSOs or by the weapons that are provided by Chino PD. We're in the process of onboarding Ken McDowell, and that includes being fitted for his safety equipment, his issue of his duty weapon and things like that. We have, on July 9th, we will be hosting at Grace Church's multi-purpose building because it's the biggest building in town and can hold all the people for all the things. We are hosting a training and standard response protocol and standard reunification methods. We anticipate about 150 attendees, and you might ask, well, who in the world would come to that? Because it doesn't sound super interesting, but it actually is. So it's a way to train first responders, mental health providers, school personnel, Yavapai County Emergency Management personnel, TPS, ADOT, people like that, in how to respond to emergencies on school campuses and for us to develop and learn about a standard reunification practice. So what that means is if we had to evacuate a campus for a variety of reasons, could be a gas leak. That's what I like to talk about. If it's a gas leak, where would we take our kids? Because Brandy has the second largest enrollment in the district, and she's barely behind the high school in number of human beings. And if we evacuated to another school campus, it's already full of human beings. So where do we put extra human beings? And so one of the things is, what does it mean to evacuate a campus and to reunify? So that is one thing we're going to be talking about here in a minute. On July, so we have a lot of participants going through that training from all around Yavapai County, some from around the state. On July 24th, we're going to have a facilitated interagency planning day where just our group comes together to plan. Okay, we've all been trained in these protocols. Now, what is that going to mean for us? So we have, I think we have like 28 people committed to it right now, including public health, ADOT, DPS, YCSO, Chino PD, school district personnel, just I mean, we go on and on, but everybody who would need to be involved if we had an emergency on a school campus. So we will be working that day. I spoke with our facilitator this morning. We'll be working on that day to come up with our practices. So for example, one of the things that we did was our school safety team, we had talked about all the things that would be needed in a reunification site. If you had to move kids, where do you need to move them? One of the things we've always dragged our heels on choosing, because there was nowhere for us to retain the kids within inside the district's geographical boundaries. The closest place that would have been large enough would have been Heights Church, which is off Larry Caldwell, and we wanted to try to keep kids centralized. So when Grace finished the multi-purpose building, which is 15,000 square feet-ish, bigger than any of our gymnasiums, one day I was actually helping my son pull cable for, IT stuff in there, went, and so we took our school safety team there in the winter. Everybody walked the facility and gave all kinds of feedback and said unanimously, this is where we need to have it. So some of the things that are considered in reunification plans, let's say we needed to evacuate Brandy's campus. So you have to think about, what do we do with kids who have special needs apparatus? How do we notify transportation? Our bus drivers don't hang out all day. So how fast can our bus drivers get back to a campus to evacuate a campus? How do we cross the highway? Oh, well, we would have to from her campus. So what would that look like? And so we've talked about retaining pathways down each side of the highway that are, since we have these nice roads called one east and one west, We can evacuate campuses to Outer Loop, we can evacuate them to Core South, across the highway at the roundabout, but what does that mean? That means we need ADOT there. Because in all likelihood, ADOT's going to redirect traffic through Windy Valley Plaza to allow several buses of kids coming. And you think about that, you get kids and buses to a site, you need to have a secure place and a way to check them in and check them out. You need, because parents will also be responding. What do you do with 300, 400, 500 cars of parents rushing the site as well? How do you pull the parents and provide them access to understanding what's going on? Well, as it turns out, we can loop video feed from the multi-purpose building into the old chapel so people could see that their kids are safe. So we're working on all of these kinds of protocols. And so because of that, other things that we're doing, we're undergoing a campus digital mapping project. So we know what the span and scope of all our cameras is, but we also know, because you know our campuses are all a little different, and none of them are single building contained facilities. If I go in this door, is there a blind spot around this corner for a first responder? So we're in the process of doing a big digital mapping project. Matt Gronick will finish that during June for us. Other things that we have going are on our phones. All district employees have been trained. We have our Raptor apps on our phones that allow any employee in the district to call a shelter in place or a lockdown. And why is it important that anybody can do it, not just the principal? Who's out on campuses all day long? Custodians, people like that. And so anybody, and we had some weather lockdowns and shelters a couple weeks ago. And so because lightning was so close, so we have the app capability on our phone. And then we also been trained in Mutual Link that allows YCSO to, in the event of emergency, we can alert them and they can access our cameras on our campuses. So as first responders are approaching campuses, they can see if there's a dangerous situation. They're seeing through our cameras to see what's going on where. So those are just a couple of the little steps we have going. Wayne, you want to talk about the MOU part and the church's facility and?
Sure. Good evening again, board. Thanks for allowing me to come. I have a building of an unusual size. It's kind of fun to have like that. See, someone got it too. One of the great things is when we built the building, our intention was to use it for community access and community opportunities. When Cindy and I sat down and began talking about this, not only do I have one large building, I have 3 sizable buildings. And the beauty of this is we can do the parent reunification in terms of the first connection with the parents in the old main building. We can have the family center that we have, the tan building in the back for special needs, counseling, all of those kinds of things. Kids who may not be able to respond well in a large room with lots of other children. We've got places for that. We have room in there in some of our upstairs in the new building for administration and all of those kinds of things. We already have a built-in safety team who knows that they will be on call. They have been invited to some of these trainings as well. So we have people who can literally stand in parking lots and direct traffic and do those kinds of things. So there's a lot of elements that make absolute sense with this. And we would love to work with the school district on this. We are willing to sign a memorandum of understanding. We've already started that process. With Cindy, we have looked at the information granted to us by Mr. Ledbetter, and we have signed off on all of the requirements the school district has. Again, we would hope and pray that we never have to use this, comma. If there's ever a need, there's got to be a place that we can do this. And for us, this is a win-win situation for us to make it possible for the school district and so on. What else, Cindy? What am I missing?
I think that I need to become a member of your church.
You'd be welcome. You'd be welcome.
Come to check it out.
Come. The church is nice. The pastor is a little dicey, to be honest with you. But, we really are working hard to be part of the community and to have that vision of making a difference in our community. And so, again, this is one of those things. We're so excited. I was Cindy was teasing me the other day about the Chino Valley Unified School District South Campus at Grace, because we've got about 4 meetings already set up at our family center and our multi-purpose building. But again, this is one of those things we're so excited about because the opportunity is there for us to make a difference. And again, we would hate to ever have to use it, but if we need to, absolutely, we want to be prepared. Like I say, Sydney, I've already talked, CAFA, Chino Valley PD, all of these, we're looking at having the opportunity for them all to come to be trained. We're inviting our entire safety team, all of them, to come. Some of them are actually young and have jobs, and they're going to come on their day off so they can do these things. And so the church is very much all in with this process.
We've been working on lots of little things about safety that aren't really all that little.
I'm jumping ahead way far, I'm sure. Will there ever be a simulation put in place with actual kids?
That is, we would like to have one drill for each campus during the school year. So a big part of it, the facilitator that we're hiring for the 24th, we are hoping that, and she's putting a proposal together for us, that she will be able to work with Mr. Ken, our new hire, to really have a solid umbrella of all the pieces and parts. And a really big piece of that is how do we talk to parents about the safety things that we're doing? What's an appropriate amount of information? What are the best ways to communicate? And on those drill days, we don't want parents coming to pick their kids up at the church. So I would just send a wave of panic for everybody. But it's an opportunity for us to be prepared for lots of things that don't just include the 1% of active shooters. So those are all the different pieces and parts. But yes, just like we have shelter in place, just like we have lockdown drills, just like we have fire drills, knowing what to do, not just for kids, but really for the staff. And one of the things that I was thinking about, I did a little webinar over the weekend, was thinking about maybe doing one of those drills with staff on a staff work day, on one of those Friday PD days when kids aren't here. So staff get that experience, but it's also for the personnel of the church because they're going to be on site too. What does it mean to be what if we have to evacuate more than one campus? What does it mean to all of a sudden have, 1,500 kids present? And two of the things that were positives for the safety team, the school district safety team, about looking at Grace as a potential relocation site. The church has magnetic key card access for all key card controls for all the doors. So everything can be controlled very, very easily and locked down very easily, but also has 36 cameras on the property. There literally is no place uncovered on that property. So once our staff is there, once our kids are there, there are a lot of measures to ensure their safety while they're present at the facility as well.
Including, we have access with gates. There are certain gates that we can close and open and so on for traffic control. We know that we're going to be working with the police department and ADOT in terms of the traffic flow. We will have extra safety members just in with that because people aren't going to know, where do I go? We know there's going to be a lot of chaos with all of that. So we are planning on that already. Our entire staff knows that if we get the call, that everyone on staff is immediately, all hands on deck and everything stops and we do whatever it takes for the school district to get through that day.
The last little piece that we've done was create common signage for all our campuses for 3 things. One, to alert anyone coming to campus that they're under video surveillance and that the campus is protected by armed security. The second one is a list of the statutes that apply to restrictions on school property. And the third one is common drop-off signs, drop-off and pickup signs for every campus. Because right now, all our signage is different on every single campus and it's confusing to people who drop off. So safety isn't just about sites, it's about how we manage personnel and how we manage students while they're on campus. And just, Peter would know from all his years as an engineer, ingress and egress are huge for safety. And if you want to see the worst case scenario of that, I'll see y'all at tech on the first day of school.
And to follow up with that, the same signage is what we want to have at Grace Church that match for the pickup and the drop-off areas. So when parents come, there's at least something familiar for them that day as well. So Cindy and I have already had that conversation. Thanks, Tom's print sign.
Yeah, thanks to Tom's. I do, for a really, really long time.
Apparently you are also.
I guess I'm. There's some fun, buddy. Sweet. All the fun stuff.
All right, I think it sounds great. Any comments or questions?
No, I think you're doing a really fantastic job in just showing what your involvement in the community and our district right here. I know myself and our board is appreciative of what you're doing.
Thank you. We want to make a difference. This is our community. We're very grateful for what you're doing as well. Thank you.
All right. Once again, action item, I would entertain a motion to approve the school safety updates and renovation site and MOU.
I'll make the motion to approve the MOU with Grace Church for use of the facility as a reunification site.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Very good. All right, next, approval of DEMA authorized representative by resolution 2024-1. Mr. Livingston.
So I do have to explain by way of explanation. I could say apology, but I don't think I have anything to apologize for. There's a person that, that I talked with when we did this last meeting, April meeting. I talked with her for about 40 minutes, 6 different phone calls, and she never mentioned the word resolution. So then once we got everything approved at the April meeting, she mentioned the word resolution, and this simply allows me to be the authorized website user to pull down reimbursement for about $21,000 of personal protective equipment that we bought in 2021. Well, it's the federal government, so it's federal emergency management, and this is defense emergency management that's funding this. And if we get everything approved, we've got the authorization, which you gave us, thank you very much, at the April meeting. Now we'll have the resolution that should satisfy this person in the defense agency, Liv, and we really appreciate what she's doing. But if you do this, then Cindy has a login, I have a login, we can pull these monies down, and they'll pay us hopefully before the end of the year. Without it,
We gotta read it.
I was just gonna say, and I'm
telling you,
not.
if anybody has like insomnia, this is the time to stand and stretch. Somebody's gotta read this, sorry.
Okay. Why you, did you?
I can do it.
We were
All right.
explicitly told it had
It
to
has to
be
be read aloud.
read aloud in an open meeting.
A resolution of the governing board of the Chino Valley Unified School District number 51, Chino, does not say Valley, but Chino, Arizona, approving the designation of applicants authorized representative and alternate authorized representative forms, submission to the Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs, which designates the school district's representatives for applying for certain public assistance and authorizing the applicant's authorized representatives to execute and deliver said application on behalf of the Chino Valley Unified School District. Be it resolved by the governing board of Chino Valley Unified School District number 51, Arizona as follows. Section 1. The designation of the authorized representative for the Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs Emergency Management, which designates John Livingston, the Director of Business Services of the Chino Valley Unified School District, as authorized representative and alternate authorized representative respectively to execute applications on behalf of the Chino Valley Unified School District for the purpose of obtaining financial assistance under the Public Assistance Program and or other Disaster Relief Act grant programs. Section 2, John Livingston, the Director of Business Services, is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to carry out the purpose and intent of this resolution. Passed and adopted by the governing board of Chino Valley Unified School District number 51, Chino Valley, Arizona, this 13th day of May 2024 by Cindy Thomas, Governing Board President, and attested by Karen Hickson, Administrative Assistant, and approved as to form by Cindy Daniels, Assistant Superintendent. All righty. After all of that, if anyone wishes to read that as the motion.
Oh, no, they do not. I will make a motion to approve authorize representative DENA/FEMA resolution 2024/1.
And a second, please. Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Annie, for calling me. I was told I had to sit and wait until I was called. Character strong adoption. Yes, Julie Bryant.
Hello, Madam President and members of the board. I have two curriculum items tonight. The first one is the Character Strong Adoption. This is for Heritage Middle School. And it was piloted for 2 months. And some of the positives that came out of it, it's an active curriculum, holds discussions for students. It is a tier 1 intervention on behaviors, and that's the whole purpose of bringing this on to, taking this to Heritage Middle School. It has character dares. Do something nice for someone, shake 5 adults' hands throughout the day, compliment a stranger. So it's really teaching the kids to be nice and how to treat each other in a positive manner instead of, being little bullies. Students like the games. They stretch their student abilities to get to know each other. So anyway, it was real positive. We had 2 adoption meetings with parents. I had 4 parents, 4 teachers, and 2 administrators at my meetings. And they have voted to bring this on. And so what I'm asking for you tonight is to vote to take this to Heritage Middle School as a supplement curriculum.
I know I asked about the parents last meeting, how many had actually reviewed the curriculum. The 4 that came to the meeting, were they on the selection committee or were they there by choice?
The selection committee.
Okay.
And I did not have anyone come to the district office
Okay.
and view at all.
I figured, I just wanted to make sure.
It's typical.
Exactly.
It's nothing new. No.
All right. Any other questions on this? We talked about it extensively at our last meeting. All right.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
For the approval of adopting Character Strong.
And a second.
Well, I thank you.
And all in favor?
I thanked you too soon.
You're on it. All right.
So thank you again for
6 to 8 CTE, PALFL CTE curriculum adoption. Ms. Bryce.
Yes, thank you. And this again is a supplemental program. And positives from this being piloted for 2 months. It offers virtual workshops, empowers students with real world goals. It is effective with exciting, engaging activities. The videos are very informative. Students have digital access. They will, they're going to work on creating their scope and sequence, and they will have some training to go with this as well. But it was very positive. And again, I had 4 parents, 4 teachers, 2 administrators at both of my meetings. And I did not have anyone come in and preview the curriculum.
Thank you. I think that's very important to say so that when people say it was not available and they didn't know about it, it was. So thank
It was,
you for saying
yes.
that. All right, any questions on this one? Okie dokie, let's have a motion.
I will make the motion of adoption of 6 through 8 CTE, PALFL CTE curriculum.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I thank you for your time.
Okay. All right, regulation EBCC-R automated external defibrillator. Is for
Not a grant.
No,
We did.
we got a lot on the grant, but this is just. I just wanted to update this regulation specifically to better reflect our staffing structure at Chino Valley Unified School District. And so just a couple of things were changed, so that this is something that can be implemented here with what we have.
What did you update in it? Just brief Reader's Digest.
No central call. We don't have a central line. We use shortwave radios, and we do not have a district physician. We have a district nurse. So the reports come to me, not our district physician, because that doesn't exist.
Fantastic, thank you. Yep. All right.
Approval of regulation. That are automated external defibrillators.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're welcome. Good night, everyone. See you next month. Or at all the upcoming stuff.
You're presenting.
Because I like first